Today I am going to be flipping through my bullet journal for the last week and setting up for this week. Unlike last week, I don't think I'm going to add any specific new collections, though that may change, you never know. But for now, let's take a look at where we're at for this current week. Here are my habits. Thus far, I have had zero success at waking up at 6:30 a.m., but I've done pretty well with a lot of them. Mostly my biggest issues are waking up, hasn't happened at all. I haven't had a chance to even touch the course I'm a part of, and I've been kind of spotty with my YouTube comments, my walking, and adding people to the group. Now, as you can see, this last week was a pretty shitty week when it comes to pain, and it's indicated elsewhere in here as well, but here on my pain tracker, you can kind of see this red hump of pain. And then yesterday, the pain levels were actually a little less, but last night I was feeling awful, and it was just, I don't even know, man. I woke up this morning and I was like, holy crap. I still feel kind of queasy, but it was just a bad night. As for blood pressure tracking, okay, I got a little bit in. I'm still not great at it, as you can see, but I did get a couple in, so that's a start, right? I have these two shows, and The Crown just got re-released, and I still haven't watched it yet, but I've been busy binge watching whenever I have a chance, like old episodes of Roseanne, which has kind of got me distracted. After my meetings this week, because I have a bunch in the evening, I want to see if I can at least get some of The Crown, and if not, Mindhunter as well. My husband's got a really busy week at work, and so he's not really interested in watching The Crown, so I'm thinking maybe I'll focus on this, and we'll watch Mindhunter when he's got a little less on his plate. Here's my oh so cute doodles thus far. I've enjoyed pretty much all of it, though I hate drawing penguins. For some reason, drawing penguins is just not something I'm very good at, and I could probably get better at it, but I don't know. I'm not super focused on that. I am loving this Nintendo Doodle Challenge so far. I had to go and look online to find out a couple. I looked up Metroid. My son was at his dad's house, so I couldn't ask him what a Metroid looked like, but I found this, and I was like, that's close enough. And then this guy, which is like the king of the red lions or something like that, I had to look him up on the internet too, because I didn't know what that was, because I haven't played that game before. But I did, however, know all about Majora's Mask. This was the week previous. So this here, as you can see, this tells you kind of what my week last week was like. Shitty kidney week. And then here's a picture of a gross PKD kidney. I didn't get a lot done, and I was like hurting for certain. If you've been paying attention to my vlogs at all, anything like that, you'll have seen that I was really not as productive as I could have hoped this last week, because I just wasn't feeling so hot. And then here's this week. I still need to fill in all of my time tracking for yesterday, because I never got around to it. There were a couple things I didn't finish on my priority list that are going to get booted to this week's priority list. But I did get some stuff done, and this is that Hearth and fucking whatever, what the hell are their names? The fixer-upper people. It's their washi. And I went on an entire tangent in my last bullet journal video about how I feel about that, but I like the look of this washi. Here is my lettering every damn day challenge for the last week. I kind of underestimated the space for Bullpucky, but I really love how these two look, Dag Nabbit and Friggery. I actually used an 08 Pigma Micron pen to write those in, and I like how it turned out, so I may do that again this week. And then I did these last week in the video. There was nothing I was going to do to them. They're just sort of collections of my mild liners and then my kids' chores. Now, some of you were like, I actually got a comment, I think on Instagram, where somebody was like, it seems like one kid has so much more to do than the other. And yeah, you're probably right, but we try to make sure that the person who cleans the litter box every day doesn't have to do a lot of the other daily chores, because cat poo is nasty. We were trying to balance these on like a nasty scale. Like, where do you fall on the nasty spectrum? And then we balance out accordingly. I didn't do a lot of extra random bullet journaling shit because I wasn't feeling that good. Maybe what I will do is I will catch up on, I still haven't caught up on the November challenges, the Harry Potter and the Oodles of Doodles. So maybe in this video, I will catch up on the November Oodles of Doodles as well. And then on my Instagram, I will try to do the rest of this Harry Potter one, but that one's going to be a bit more of a pain in the ass because it's a little bit more detailed than something like this. As for other collections, I actually want to start a couple of pages this week. I'm not going to be going deep into them, but I know I need to do a couple of different brainstorming activities over the next week or so to get ready for 2018. So I might start those pages and then actually do them over the course of the week, but we'll see if that happens. I think what I'm going to do is I am going to start by catching up on my Oodles, my Oh So Cute Doodles challenge for November. So there are 15 days to do. I'm going to grab a 03 Tombow mono drawing pen. I've got my list here, and I am just going to doodle as quickly as I can and get through them. This is all on the fly. I'm not going to be stopping and thinking about any of them. When I film this for Instagram, when I'm hyperlapsing a catch-up like this, I just go, and that's why you look at some of this lettering from when I caught up and how some of it just looks super like sloppy as crap. Well, it's because I was going as fast as I could, and that's what you're going to see right now. So that's what I'm going to start with. I'm going to start with catching up on November. This really looks like a fucking turd. Holy shit. Okay, so we're starting with number 15, which is a refrigerator. So go. Okay, wait a minute. Mickey Mouse is supposed to be the 18th. So then what was the 8th? X-ray. Oh, I don't want to draw that. Well, she said if you don't want to draw it, you can draw wine. I already did that once before. I drew wine on the 10th when I didn't want to draw a soldier. So I'm going to draw wine again, but I'm going to do a bottle this time. Okay, that was a weak-ass toilet, but notice I drew the little poo in here. Can you see that? I'm going to zoom you in. I drew a little poo. That's about as far as I'm willing to go for that one right now. Okay, I fully admit these are like the dweebiest little doodles ever. My French toast, like seriously, Cindy, stereotype. I couldn't remember if a goose honked or quacked. All of this is kind of weak, but whatever. It's done, right? I'm gonna do my challenges thus far for December. We're gonna start with this month's Oh So Cute doodle, and maybe I will try a little bit harder. It is stocking. Or maybe I didn't try much harder than that, but put a little toys in here or something. Whatever, it's good enough. Nintendo Doodle Challenge. What is it today? Today is Navi. Hey, listen! Oh, man. All right, there's Navi. Probably the most obnoxious character in any Legend of Zelda game ever. Well, Rudo's pretty obnoxious too, but Navi's just always there. I love the Ocarina of Time, but holy shit, Navi. Next, I think I'm gonna draw in my lettering challenge for the week so that I can do that. I haven't changed any format. Now, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do for my challenge for next year. If I am going to continue the lettering challenge as it has been, if I'm gonna modify it, I just don't know yet. I know I wanna do something, but I haven't had the chance to sit down and think about what. And that's actually gonna be part of what I need to work on these couple of pages I'm gonna set up today to do some like soul searching, some deep, thoughtfulness this week, or at least the attempt at being thoughtful. That is on the list of things to figure out what I want to do for a challenge this next year. But if I change what my challenge is, I may change how I set it up in the bullet journal. I will say having it in the bullet journal this way has kept me relatively on top of things because it's inside something I use every single day as like a matter of course, as opposed to having to go to a separate situation, if that makes sense. Today's word is, or phrase, or whatever, is what the fudge. Is this the middle of my bullet journal? How many pages are in here? There's a total of, there's 201 numbered pages. So it's a little, not entirely accurate because like the index pages in the front are not counted and the pen test isn't counted. But if 201 is the middle, then this right here is the center of my bullet journal. I have hit midway, and that's what? October, November, and then half of December. So 2.5 months, so 5 months. Maybe I should write this somewhere, over up in the corner. Prediction, 5 months. How am I gonna remember that I did that? I need to put like a little piece of like washi tape or something up here. Just a little tab of washi tape to note my prediction of how long this situation is going to be. But I don't want to put it too deep on here because I'm going to be putting, no, I don't want to. That's not going to look pretty. Ugh. Hold on, do I have a tab somewhere? I bet I have a tab somewhere. Okay, I have these Target dollar spot flags. You guys remember these if you've been around in the community for long enough? Flags that don't actually ever work all that well. I'm going to use this little guy here, and I don't want to put the whole thing in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a little flag. This is just to mark my prediction. This is right now. I'm halfway through the bullet journal. I am 2.5 months into it. So this is my prediction that it will be, what would that make it? If it's 5 months, it would be October, November, December, January, February. So I would be starting a new bullet journal at the beginning of March. Put a little bit of reusable or repositionable adhesive on this. I'm just gonna stick it there, and then I'm gonna write here, new BJ in 3/18. Okay, that's my prediction, and we're putting it here. You guys have seen it here now. It's my prediction of my next bullet journal. Now that I have gotten sufficiently distracted, let's draw in my weekly situation. The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mark in the start of these boxes, because that way I can put the washi tape in. I'm gonna be using this, it's like tea and coffee and like hot cocoa with marshmallows. This is a simply gilded washi tape from last year's like winter collection, and I am going to utilize this puppy across the top because I'm just liking the look of using washi across the top of all of these spreads. This makes it really pretty in my mind. All right, it was more painful than I thought it was going to be, but I got that in. I am going to draw in my time tracker for the week. Now I want you to look and see kind of how I'm coloring this in. I'm not coloring it in perfectly. I'm kind of scriggling it in because that way it leaves little tiny specks of white and it looks kind of imperfect, which I like the look of. Plus it saves a little bit of time because then you don't have to like color everything in perfectly. You can just sort of fake it, and it adds a little bit of interest. Those are both colored. Now I'm going to add some of my bits and pieces to these. So I drew those bubble letters in, kind of like more block lettery than bubble lettery, but I'm gonna add a tiny bit of drop shadow to each of them. Just a tiniest bit to add a little bit of depth. I'm gonna quickly draw in my squares, and I've actually got some of my priorities already set for this week. I don't know if I'm going to set them all or not, but I will set some of them, and I'm going to do the same scriggly situation for each of these boxes the way that I did around the edges of the time tracker and this priorities box. Priorities I know I have this week. I need to finish the Christmas Eve order of service and get it to our administrator. I need to get my board agenda sent to my meeting next week. I need to get my board report written for digest, because that's what this is for. We have 2 separate kind of publications at my church for balloon. I don't need the S there. I don't know why I put that there. Okay. This is all churchy related shit. I need to get the bonus download for my patrons done. I can't fucking spell today. I need to schedule a smog check for my car because registration is due next month, and then the contract I have to finish. Now I'm going to fill in my key for my time tracking, and then I'm actually going to go back to this week and finish filling in yesterday and then this morning with my time tracking. These are my mild liners, by the way. Before I go back to filling the lettering here, I did want to point out, if you notice on here how much of this orange color there is all over this week, that's recover. That's time I usually just spend in bed, resting, watching TV, trying to feel better. And as you can see, to go along with shitty kidney week, we have a ton of recover time built into the afternoons, because that, as you look at my pain tracker, that's when shit kind of goes downhill for me. So anyway, this is where we're at right now. I had to run errands this morning and do some editing before I filmed this video. Whoa, flying lids. This will be where I bullet journal once I am done filling in this page. I'm gonna really quick write in my bullet journal for today. I have some filming to do today, so I was trying not to be way overly ambitious like I have been lately, because I keep not getting there. Now, the last thing I want to do is kind of set up 2 spreads. I'm going to do this as one big brainstorm for 2018 spread. One of them is going to be stuff for the YouTube channel, and one of them is going to be stuff for a potential podcast I'm going to be starting. And if you would like to know more about that, you're just going to have to wait. Unless you're one of my patrons, we've already started having conversations about that. So I am going to just make a giant brainstorm across the top here, and then I will create 2 spots, and that will be room for me to sit down and brainstorm. Is it Brian or Brain? Oh my God, that almost was bad. I don't know what happened to that S. Don't worry about it. Why am I scribbling it in like this? Because it's a storm. It's a brainstorm. There's my brainstorm. There, I have a nice fat brainstorm page that I'm going to work on this week. So when we do our when I do my next weekly bullet journal setup, hopefully there'll be some stuff written here. I may have it covered up, but hopefully it'll be written there. And I'm going to add this to my index really quick as well. And it looks like I am all wrapped up for the week. I am kind of excited to try and get myself back on track after my week of feeling like asshole. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see if I can knock all these priorities off. I need to knock all these priorities off this week. Do you have any suggestions for me for 2018 in terms of YouTube series, in terms of content for my patrons, in terms of a possible podcast? Do you have any suggestions? Leave them in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you next time.